Hello, Kerbal and welcome to part 7 of Mining the Man. Last episode we were trying to land this probe on top of the mining facility we have on the Man. However, we got out of control and lost everything. Trying to precision land is quite difficult. So what we plan to do, you may have seen it in the last episode, we have a plan B. So let's stop admiring this destruction and go straight to it. Okay, this is plan B. This is going to be sort of a cranes effort where we have, instead of landing legs, we have the struts on there, and you can see it's quite heavy. So we use the hyper edit to test this on Kerbal before we go and take it to the Man, because I'm not going to take any chances. As soon as we land on the Man, I'm going to say, well, it's done. And, okay. Some little redesigning required. So back to the drawing board. Okay, now I've added extra wheels to this, and you can see that I'm using the airplane wheels. And that is so they can fold up, and the idea is they fold up, we can use the other wheels to move a bit quicker on the Man. And then raise the wheels, go over the miner, lower them, and dock with the miner. Easy, a little unstable by here, but I'm sure we can widen the wheelbase out, make it a bit more stable. Okay, now we're on the airplane wheels and trying to get them to move. They don't seem to want to respond. Okay, little RCS breaking a bit, perhaps we're on a slope. That's no good. If we're on a slope on the Man, we're going to lose control, so trying to use the large wheels so we can move about, and I find the draft is a bit too heavy. Well, I could use the other wheels, but the other wheels are a lot larger and not so... The other smaller wheels aren't as good. Okay, so we're stuck with the airplane wheels. Let's see if we can get them working. No, definitely not going to get those large wheels working. Come on. Right, so I thought, well, if we invert the controls of the other wheels, perhaps they're fighting against each other. When you're trying to go one way, one's trying to go one way, the other's going the other way, and they're cancelling out their movement. So let's get it. We seem to be slowing down. Little RTS help won't hurt, and we're going in the right direction. However, after a couple of hours of fiddling and whatever else tinkering, we find that the controls aren't actually working. I think we're on a gradient, we head towards the miner, and then we come to the end of the gradient. Well, there's always plan C, and this is plan C. What we're going to do, I can load this up. No, build it from scratch. It is going to be another probe. Fuel tank, sorry. And what I plan to do is, rather than land the entire lander on there, we're going to land that with this on top. Then we're going to try to get this to dock on top of the miner. Transfer the ore, dock this back on top of the lander, and they go up to the station. So get there. You see we've got the power, we've got the radiators on there to dissipate any heat we may encounter from the miner. Not that we'd think we did, but it's worth making sure that you don't overheat anything. So those radiators are a good idea. They are RCS thrusters, and you've got these veneer thrusters, but they don't seem to work unless you've got a Kerbal cockpit or some type control like that. We need some powerful RCS thrusters, because I'm not going to use rocket engines for this. However, rocket engines might work properly. I'm going to use RCS thrusters, and several of them. Now, this I've worked out has enough thrust to take us off from the Man with this amount of weight, and it should get us in a good distance, but we can't do this docking manually. No, we're going to have to use MechJeb. You could say it's a bit of cheating, but the docking position you need is extremely difficult. So let's get this over to the Man and see if it actually works. I think the problem I've encountered here is that I'm relying on top-down docking ports, and that's specifically hard when you're trying to land something on the Man. When you've got something landed on the Man, or any object which gravity because you've got another force to counteract, which makes it quite difficult. What we should have done is built rovers, and so we can dock things from end on. Anyway, let's fast forward time because we don't have much time. If I included everything I've recorded, this would be about 4 or 5 hours long, so there's a lot of cutting in this episode. However, I've included the best parts of it, or at least the parts I reckon you need to know. Right, I'm fast forwarding to our plane change, the sphere of influence, and another alarm has come up. What we've got to do is a maneuver on the old Montag. Right, before we get to that and what we're going to do, because we're going to have to dock up at the Mun space station, look at this orbit. It's showing us that we're going to encounter the man in the wrong phase. We're going to come at the wrong side of the man. Now bear that in mind, I decided to check it out, and this is showing a different orbit. So I think, okay, it's fine, we'll keep that alarm and continue with this. Kerbal alarm clock is excellent, by the way. If you use that mod, you can do alarms to do any maneuvers, and you can come back to multiple ships whenever you need to go to them. But let's quickly get this into the space station. Again, this video is being fast forward slightly because I'm getting about 10 frames per second. Yes. All slow and sluggish. I can still play it, but it is slow. Okay, let's get this over to the space station. Same ammo. When you come close to the space station, kill your velocity so you're in relative to your target, so you're in the same speed, same orbit. And then it's just a matter of thrusting towards your target. Killing your velocity, thrust towards until you're close enough to dock. Okay, now we're on our way. I'm going to include most of this docking, I think. However, things do go wrong. I will show you that in a moment. But now let's talk about the name of the space station. I've had 2 good suggestions for the name of the space station. Someone suggested to call it Rendezvous. Well, no, they suggested to call it Rama, which is the Hindu god of fortune, I believe. I'm sure. And the reason why is because there's a book by Arthur C. Clarke called Rendezvous with Rama. And another good suggestion, which I quite like well, is RSSTM, which is Random Space Station to Mun. Let me know, guys, what you think of that one, because I'd be quite interested in what you'd want. Right, let's get back to docking. Okay, we need to now dock with that port I've just targeted. Ooh, that light's too bright. I'll have to work on placing those lights and perhaps dim them down a bit. As I career out of control trying to do other things at the same time. Right, let's get this orientated up using the docking alignment tool. Quite handy to use if you want your quite thing about docking. I don't call it a cheat because in real life they use computers to dock. They've tried manual docking and it almost ended up in disaster. I think it was when I tried it with the Mir space station, the Russians did. Anyway, before we get any closer to that, keep an eye on the space station. I'm going to do a physical time acceleration. I'm going to show the video in normal time now. And did you watch the space station? Did you see what happened? I didn't notice it at the time. But have a look around. And oh yes, that's what's happened. Something goes wrong. Every time I do physical time acceleration around that module, something explodes. I'm not sure if it's the spaceplane parts, because I'm using them at docking and the space station. Not entirely sure. Well, let's get back to docking. Now, I said this is not a cheat because I don't believe that it'll cause, it's something, a tool that you'd have. Especially if you're manually controlling this. I should have put mech chip on this probe. It'd make things a lot easier, especially with this slow 10 frames per second. What the hell, I enjoy docking, and it's a slow process, but it's like a ballet. It's like something that can calm your nerves, that makes you concentrate on one thing as we bounce off the space station. Looks like the magnetic's not working correctly again. But it also can stress you out like that. What the hell's going on? Why isn't this working? Why am I not lining up correctly? But eventually everything works out. Come on. Yeah, because this is going slow and I'm slightly out of alignment, I'm letting the magnetic get us in control, get us docked, and hey presto, it works eventually. But let's have a look at something. Right, we've got fuel in that pod. It actually didn't include a fuel pod, a fuel tank that we could use. So I'm going to transfer that fuel over to the tug. Basically, so when we get the ore up into here, we can process it and we have a tank to fill. I suppose we've got the other tanks on the other craft that we could refill. But we'll have to get to that when we get the ore tank up. And that presents its own problems, as you'll see. Because now we're going to land our space tug, Mantag, sorry, Mark III. Believe it or not, this is the 3rd edition of the space tug, of the Mantag. What do you call it? I'll keep on calling it space tug. I've added landing legs and extra tanks. Now it still looks the same. You see I've added extra tanks to the outer rockets. Let's orientate this correctly because we want to land. I'll have to do a tutorial, I think, on precision landing. Let me know, guys, if you want to aim to specific tutorials. Some people have been asking for maths, a bit more on maths. Some people have been asking me to do interplanetary tutorials and whatnot. But let me know what you want. Okay, I noticed I was going to land on the ridge of that crater again, and we don't want to do that. We have precious cargo which you want to take off from the man. Another flashing glitch there from KSP. Always been there. Hopefully Unity 5 will fix all that. And hopefully Unity 5 will allow multiprocessing for this game, so at least you can speed it up a bit. So the graphics is done by just the graphics card, and all the physics calculations are done by all 4 cores I have in my PC. Or is it a 6-core PC I've got? I think it's a 6-core I've got. Yeah, it's a 6-core. Does Unity 5 support 6 cores, or does it support just 4 cores? I'd like to know. Anyway, it's well on its way. Unity 5 update for Kerbal Space Bro. I'm not sure if they have any other updates in the game. That'd be cool to look at. Perhaps they'll fix balance parts and whatnot. Okay. Yeah, we're coming down. Let's kill our sideways velocity. And yes, we've landed. Okay, now for the big piece de resistance. Control from here. Control the probe. Set as target. And something seems to go wrong. I don't seem to have set the target. It doesn't let me select the target. It lets me rename, but that's no use. Perhaps I need to be a bit closer. Let's get over there. Okay, so I'm controlling from the bottom docking port. So that makes trying to control it just to get overhead quite difficult. In fact, I decide let's get a bit higher. And if you notice on the top of this probe, I've only got one RCF thruster for control, and that must have been an oversight. I forgot to set it up 4 times symmetry in the VAB. Whoa, see, because I'm controlling it from the bottom, controlling it, getting the direction correctly is difficult. Because everything is reversed. Let's go over the top. We need to target it, yep. Okay. Automatic docking, please. And we've got too much sideways velocity here. Now, if this is this hard to control with it's empty, How hard is it going to be control with it full? We'll get to that. Okay, automatic docking, we're going in the right direction. As you see, MechJeb is doing its best to control it. I keep on changing the speeds, hoping that will change our speed, but you can see it's, if you're going at an angle, it seems to keep at a specific speed and to the right in front of it, then it uses that docking speed you set. And hey presto, we're done. Let's go and transfer that ore. More importantly, let's open those panels so we can make sure we keep power within their miner. And finally, we have the ore transported across over to our ore container. But let's go back to our rover, because we were going to scout other areas. And you see here, I plotted a course to give us the least path of resistance. But look at the ridge up there. Look how high, look how steep it is. Can we get up there? I'm not sure, let's find out. Now I've set this to automatically go, that's why the camera angle is like this. So I can go off and do some other things. Like say, eat some food, read a magazine. Catch up with space news. But however, we come to this ridge. Look at that. Now I'm not sure if those wheels, perhaps those wheels don't have enough grip, they don't have enough torque or whatever else. Maybe it's because I put those wheels, you can see they're at slight angles to the vehicle. Perhaps if I put them dead on, they'd work. Or I give up on that hill. Let's try another one. Now that looks a bit better. In fact, this course takes us off into another crater. Perhaps we can check multiple craters. However, this is the steep part. Can we get up there? My money is on this one. If we can't get up this one, all the other alternatives were too steep. Come on, come on. Nope. Now we can come back, I suppose, and try zigzagging up these. But the mass of this rover is high. And that means it's going to tip over easy if we tilt too much sideways. So we may not do that. I may give her a test to see if that will work. But I haven't done so yet. Okay, MechJeb's trying to give her a good go. He's going straight up, no, and sliding back down. We lose grip. Keeps on going, keeps on trying. However, I do give up in the end. So let's get back to this. Before we go and dock our ore container back on top of this mantag, we need to get a little closer. Because with this full of ore, it is going to be quite heavy. Now watch it, see, full thrust. In fact, this is eating up the RCS fuel like crazy. Trying to keep it aloft, my plan was I'd float it over across, land on it, and hey presto, we can launch this up and then get into dock with a space station, process the ore. But will we succeed? Find out in this episode. Okay, so, right. Now we've got this. We're going to fly over the top of it. We can set the target. Everything's going fine. Just need to get that control, get it on speed. Okay, slow down. High above now. Rest up a bit. This is the idea. We're going up. Whoa, look at that RCS. That is low. We need to get a little closer. And you see, this is the part where I should have added more RCS thrusters on you. Perhaps even more RCS tanks. Come on, engage. Come on, slow us down. And RCS tanks are empty. What are we going to do? This needs a bit more precision control, and look at that. I love the way they just fall apart, but I reload it and try again. Yes, this is one of the few times I actually quick saved. Okay, let's get this a bit... Oh no, bit more manual control. And no... RCS thrust. Ugh. Oh, this is mad. Okay, that's enough. Plan D. Right, this probe on top of here is going to land. It's got thrusters, it's got a fuel tank, so we can control our vertical velocity. And then MechJeb can change our position and dock with us just controlling it. Okay, let's quickly launch it up. And hey, that was quick. Yes, more cutscenes, because we're at 21 minutes in the video already. Right, slowly land. You can see this is good enough to control it. I've made sure that for a full ore tank, or fuel tank, it can land it. I did wonder at this point, looking at the fuel on this now, is will it be useful for all things? We'd have to actually launch it up or bring fuel down for it. I'm not sure. The fuel on this thing is going to be an issue, especially once we pick this ore tank up now. You see here, you see what I'm doing? I'm controlling the throttle, making sure our vertical velocity it stays the same, while MechJeb is controlling our outside to side movement. See, the RCS is trying to thrust this down. I'm trying to control the thrust of it to make sure that we come down in a reasonable manner and we don't use too much RCS fuel. And we haven't docked. What's going on? Will it thrust up? And we've docked! Yes! Success! At last. Now let's see if this works. Need a lot more thrust to get this up. Now, I done a test run before I went off and started doing this to make sure I knew how to control it and if everything would work correctly. We seem to have some rotational properties with this one. Perhaps it's because I'm not docked on straight and the RCS thrusters are giving us a bit of an offset. But if I keep the thrust low enough, we don't seem to rotate. So everything's okay there. Let's keep our vertical velocity. We're coming down. It looks like we're almost on target, slightly off. Bit of throttle control here. And those large RCS thrusting sideways are a godsend. Because, look, see, we're coming over here. Controls, I drop down slightly. And we're on target. But we didn't dock. And I tried everything to get it to work. So I take off again. Line it up to MechJeb job for docking. But nothing I do works. I get it lined up perfectly. MechJeb does, actually, sorry. And nothing works. It's as if the magnetics don't work. So we're going to do a plan E, or is that going to fall over as well? I'm not sure. Anyway, you're going to have to find out in the next episode. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you're not already and you enjoy this and you want more, subscribe because I'll be doing more videos. And guys, I'm at 1,000 subscribers. And as a celebration of all your generosity hitting of that subscribe button, what do you want me to do? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I'm Orbital. Trust me, I'm an engineer. And I'll eventually get this to work.